Story 1. One of my favorite things about life is having the chance to glimpse the lives of other people. I like to hear their stories and see how they experience life. Most of the time, their experience is very different from mine. I discovered Reddit as a place where I can scroll and witness many different stories, and sometimes engage in a few conversations along the way. Why do you use Reddit? What do you do here? Story 2. Reddit is my social therapy. Anonymous people share thoughts I would never say aloud, and reading them makes me feel less alone. The chaos of threads and comments is secretly hilarious. Story 3. This is the real world. Real stories and real people. I deleted social media a year ago and now use only this. This is great. Story 4. Seeking some form of human connection, either in person or from the safety of my home, on the schedule I need. Story 5. I am alone a lot and it gives me a social outlet. I am a houseplant. Story 6. It helps me when I am bored. I enjoy talking to people from all over the world and offering my input and advice whenever I can. Reddit is like my journal. I pour all of my thoughts, feelings, and emotions into it. Story 7. Real answers. Real people. Also, probably some mild depression. Story 8. It helps to know we are not alone. There are others in the world like us, going through the same experiences. Seeing the world from different perspectives helps us learn to self-reflect. After all, we are the ones looking in the mirror, so we should like what we see. Story 9. I plan to talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling with other fans while the shows were going on, but I ended up doom scrolling on Reddit. I like to help people when I can, giving tips on Final Fantasy tactics and answering pro wrestling questions and so on. Story 10. I like to help people avoid getting scammed, primarily focusing on mold and pseudoscience. I also identify rocks for people every once in a while because I have to put that geology degree to use somewhere, laughing out loud. Story 11. I do not have many friends, and I like being able to ask people questions and discuss my interests with others who share them. Story 12. A space to connect with others who live with bipolar disorder and other mental health conditions, and to discuss movies and comic books. Story 13. Ask and answer questions. Learn a little. Discover and be inspired by art and photography. Connect with people interested in kink. Learn more about others and about myself. Story 14. I use it to keep myself sane. Without Reddit, I would not have noticed the trauma I experienced from my mother or had any connection or escape beyond her and her partners. Story 15. I am bored and hope to meet someone I click with and have a genuine connection. I am done with dating apps and social media where I only ever receive dick pics instead of meaningful messages. Laughing out loud. Story 16. Asking questions others have already asked because I gave up too soon and didn't research at all. I'm also trying to make other people laugh with my comments. Story 17. I like hearing about other people's lives, loves, and lusts. Occasionally you make a really strong connection in direct messages or on Telegram. Story 18. At first I just asked questions, but I fell in love with Reddit because it helped me obtain a rare software program I had been seeking for years. Reddit is my favorite application, and I use it more than Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Story 19. Hours of distraction from life pass. Then, once in a while, I find a piece of information that changes my life, so I keep scrolling. Story 20. It started with pornography, then with my gaming needs and questions, followed by other random interests. Now I hope to fulfill my sexual fantasies with people I meet while traveling. Story 21. I like Reddit because of all the unique people I meet here. Seeing different perspectives stimulates my mind. Story 22. It is an interesting window into how people behave towards strangers. I also enjoy looking at cute cats and collectibles. Story 23. It is an incredibly diverse social platform. I use it for organizing and running political groups and actions, to find answers to many questions backed by actual human experience, to laugh, to smile, and sometimes to show off. It is also great that you can be as anonymous as you want. Story 24. I relate to others because I enjoy conversation and find it interesting. I read Reddit posts in bed when I cannot sleep. It feels like a quieter version of social media. I do not enjoy TikTok because it is overly stimulating. I also use social media for OnlyFans. Story 25. There's no single reason. I like that I can find communities about things I care about or that affect me. I also like the anonymity for several reasons. It makes me realize there are many people out there like me. Story 26. I check the news, explore communities based on my interests, and talk to random people. I read extreme comments and view adult content. Story 27. It is the only social media that does not feel like mind control to me. Story 28. There have been plenty of times I have searched for something specific, added Reddit to the search terms, and it led to an actual discussion thread that contained the information I was looking for, along with some tangents I had not even considered. Story 29. My life suddenly went downhill and I completely isolated myself from my close friends and family. This place serves as a comforting space where people talk about a variety of topics. It honestly keeps me distracted from the harsh reality. Story 30. Giving and receiving bad advice is actually interesting, but I will not believe anything I read unless I already know most of the advice. I also like criticizing other people's fry-ups. Story 31. I am here because it is better to read what people are doing, to help if they have problems, to listen, and to offer support. It is better to be here than on Instagram. I am Russian speaking and we have the best memes. Story 32. I started out of boredom and did not get it at first. I began reading responses to posts. The randomness of the comments and the complete right turns they took from the original posts made me laugh out loud. I have been here ever since. Story 33. To pass the time when I am bored and have engaging and thought-provoking conversations about topics I am interested in. Story 34. In short, I have gone through a series of experiences that led me to develop a different perspective. Along the way, external criticisms and critiques of who I am and how I think have made it difficult to express my point of view without being labeled strongly opinionated. I am still working on that. Despite this, people often ask me for advice or seek my ear or shoulder. I am only one person and cannot read everything, but when I come across certain threads and feel inclined to comment, I do so freely whether I get a response or not. In some way, we are all here for mental stimulation on various topics. Story 35. I have had my account for 6 years, but I only started using Reddit a week ago. I didn't know before, but now I know it is a good source of useful information if you search. It also contains nonsense, but no perfect platform exists. Story 36. I sometimes meet helpful people and try to be helpful in return. Lately, I have been questioning why I use Reddit because the number of bullies and bots seems to be increasing. Story 37. I initially used Reddit because I had colon surgery and did not have much information about living with a stoma. The people there were generous in sharing their experiences, and I gradually learned how to live afterward. I have since had the stoma reversed and am very grateful to the community. Now I follow reality shows. Story 38. This platform offers intellectual stimulation. Many people leave thoughtful comments and try to engage in dialogue. Other social media platforms focus on appearances and feel shallow. Story 39. Connecting with others who are in similar situations makes me feel less alone in what I am going through in my career and with my anxiety. Story 40. Most situations you have experienced, someone on Reddit has experienced before. The same goes for movies and shows. Whatever you feel or think in a movie, someone else has felt it too. Redditors offer fresh perspectives that encourage out-of-the-box thinking. Story 41. You can read true stories because it is anonymous. Otherwise you would not. Story 42. It is more focused than Facebook. I can write longer text than Twitter. Story 43. I have had very minimal social interaction with friends or family lately by my own choice. I don't know. I feel a change coming. Winds of change. Story 44. For the most part, we can be anonymous. Nobody really knows who we are. Sometimes there is a connection with other Redditors. Loss, grief, or similar political views. I have to say, the political stuff gets old. Story 45. It is like people watching but without the hassle of being around people. There are unhinged comments, sometimes good advice, and a variety of things to read. I have learned new things and discovered points of view I had not considered before. Story 46. Vulnerability, community, and paranormal and horror stories are fascinating. It is difficult to find people who struggle with the same mental health issues, and online people are often open and honest about their experiences. They can be very helpful and supportive when I need it most. It is great to connect with others like me, even if they are anonymous. You can also learn a lot online. There are many new perspectives and conversations you do not always get to have in real life. It is enjoyable to chat with like-minded people. Story 47. Reddit is my deep web. I know I am not alone in my questions. I get answers within minutes from someone who has encountered the same problem or thought. It feels like a connection to the world through the internet. People here are genuinely smart. Apart from a few negative jerks on Reddit, I love the people and what Reddit has to offer. Story 48. I created an account because I needed help with physics. Now it is my fourth account because I sometimes impulsively delete accounts. I enjoy helping people, reading stories, and getting support when needed. I also sometimes look through my laptop and find nice things that others might like, so I share them. Story 49. I like Reddit because it is unironically the primary source for many people's decisions and actions in mainstream media and in real life. That video essay, educational video, or animation you watched all came from Reddit. It even affects politics. Social media is a tiny place when you know where to look. The 7-point connection theory is dead. You can go straight to the source, which is very strange. Story 50. I like seeing other people's ideas in the cooking and baking subreddits. I just learned that one of my favorite baking blogs created a Dubai chocolate cookie recipe, which I will be making for my work Christmas party. I also always search Reddit for anecdotes about anything I am considering doing or purchasing. Story 51. Being able to interact with other people has opened my mind and eyes to the diversity of humanity and life, and to how we all experience them. I now use it to be a very active member of specific groups for my health conditions and chronic illnesses. It allows me to be part of communities with people dealing with the same or similar medical issues, and we can provide many different things to each other. Questions and answers, rants, and support. I have learned so much from them and truly found friends and support one night on a Reddit thread that saved my life. They all have epilepsy like I do, and they invited me to a Zoom meeting for support after I posted about how low I was and the state I was in. I was experiencing severe side effects from Perimpanel, brand name Fycompa, which I do not recommend. I stayed on the call with them for more than 8 hours that night. I am crying as I type this. They were a huge reason I made it through the night. I would never have known things like this existed on Reddit, but people always find you in the most interesting ways. I do not get much human interaction at the moment because I am disabled, but interacting with others here always gives me that feeling. You have to be aware of what you are engaging in, but if you use it for the right reasons, it is incredible and can lead to amazing things. I hope this reaches the right person. God bless everyone. Story 52. I honestly first downloaded it in 2021 for the not safe for work content and to join some subreddits of a fandom I was in at the time. I did not really do much with that fandom side, so Reddit became a porn app for me for years. I did not use it all the time. Around 2024, I got into Ace Attorney and Danganronpa and discovered Heyday had a subreddit, so I joined all of them. I now almost exclusively use Reddit to participate in those 3 communities because I adore fandoms and interacting with the communities I love. Story 53. One of my reasons is to be more authentically myself. I want to engage with content that I am interested in and discover that others share those interests, even if society deems them weird. Story 54. I like being anonymous online while still able to interact with people. Story 55. I like it here. Feels like forums and early social media. Story 56. I get to post my crazy ideas and read other people's crazier ideas. It is mainly anonymous. Story 57. Regular social media is awful. Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook are full of the most vile, rude, uneducated, illiterate, and racist people I have ever met. Once, I commented that a wrestler in World Wrestling Entertainment seemed out of shape, and someone responded with horrible things about my family and others pictured in my profile. I reported it as bullying, but nothing came of it. Reddit is more anonymous. People are usually nicer and can actually read and have more discussion instead of being hostile at every turn. I have had far more positive interactions there than on any other social media platform. Story 58. We are all equal in this space. We walk into the same room for the same reason. To understand we are not so different, to find our people, to be seen without actually being seen, to say weird things we would not normally say in our day-to-day lives, to see someone else's unexpected ideas, to greet a random dog, cat, monkey, or unicorn, to ask silly questions without embarrassment, to tell someone it is time to shave their head, and to watch a video of someone shaving their head. Those are some of the best things about Reddit. Story 59. What else hosts memes, comments, threads, questions and answers, news, and anything relevant to your interests? The entire reason we browse the internet is largely hosted here. I'm not in love with Reddit, but what else is there? I play games and use Discord, YouTube, or Twitch, but those are slightly different. Story 60. I like to chat about my hobbies, news, political opinions, and hypotheticals. Among the people I know in real life, there is only occasional overlap. My friends have not all played the same games I have. Some are too invested in their political ideology to have calm discussions, and others do not share the interests needed to find certain topics engaging. These days I find Reddit to be a continuous feed of content that is more resistant to low-quality posts than other platforms because content rises to the top through user voting. I use the old Reddit interface and the Relay app, so I rarely see sponsored content or algorithmic recommendations. Reddit is also less addictive than YouTube Shorts, and I can put it down more easily when I have other things to do. Story 61. I use it to process things happening in my life. I use the endometriosis subreddit to get answers, understand the experience, and decide what I should do next about my health. Recently, I have been using the loneliness subreddit and the depression subreddit, which have helped a bit. I am also trying to find companionship because I have been quite depressed and needed to reach out to other options. Story 62. I do not particularly like leaving the house or being social, so this is a way of interacting in which I can simply be present or absent and I do not have to worry about being rude or socially awkward. Laughing out loud. Story 63. Memes, seeing what's happening in the world, and the occasional jerk session. Story 64. Answering questions. On the lookout for better opportunities, though. Story 65. So I can eventually talk to an entourage of men who want me to take care of them. Otherwise, it's fun to socialize. Story 66. I am sometimes extremely bored. I follow 2 shows and enjoy the snark. Story 67. Boredom and advice were explained to me at a for dummies level. Story 68. The subreddit conspiracy has become one of the best sources for news. Story 69. The not safe for work side of Reddit, not for pornography but for conversation. Story 70. I deactivated Facebook years ago. Instagram is not much different. At least Reddit has people I do not know in real life and offers a variety of things to read about. Story 71. I am addicted to street fight videos, and Reddit is the best source I have found. If you can point me to a better source, please do. Story 72. Anything is better than Facebook. I do not use X, Snapchat, or TikTok. Story 73. Competent literacy skills and an attention span longer than 3 seconds. Story 74. I found a community that really worked for me and helped me build connections. Story 75. My reasons include getting help with certain problems, sharing my strange art, and keeping up with random stuff. Story 76. Chat rooms are the last refuge for real human connection and interaction. Story 77. I can give and receive information and tips about my favorite hobbies. Story 78. I just want to post about my game. It is not easy on Reddit. I have never used this before. Story 79. Reddit is used to share ideas, learn from diverse perspectives, discuss topics of interest, and stay up to date on current trends across various communities. Story 80. It was art, but then artificial intelligence got involved and started scraping accounts. Now I am just a storyteller. Story 81. To ask about and talk about things I might not be able to elsewhere, and to have something to read to pass the time. Story 82. I do not use any other social media. I like strangers more than the people I know. Story 83. Interacting with people who share my interests is important because none of my friends in real life share them. Story 84. I cannot access external links. Please paste the text here. I will correct spelling, expand all acronyms to full words, remove meaningless repetition, fix punctuation, remove special characters and links, and return only the clean text suitable for Azure text-to-speech. Story 85. I sell content here. Kink play, dom, and roleplay sexting. I love Reddit laughing out loud. Story 86. Because I'm nosy, and this is the one platform I can talk shit on and put my sailor's mouth to work. Story 87. It is more efficient than reading Reddit stories on Facebook and Pinterest. Story 88. Being downvoted for stating a fact when it is an inconvenient truth for the echo chamber. Story 89. Get advice primarily about video games or post random content. Story 90. To write the cleverest thing ever and meet my soulmate from the flood of direct messages sent by women who appreciate my respect and knowledge of them. Story 91. You can talk about any subject, ranging from mathematics and chemistry to cultural exchange. I hate when discussion portals treat topics as taboo or promote left-wing values. Story 92. To look at crafty items and hopefully make some friends. 2. Story 93. My group chat with friends disintegrated over the past few years. I still like to chat and share my opinions. Story 94. Fark was starting to feel stale. Dig had content, but the comments were not very entertaining. Reddit seemed okay, though a little confusing. I eventually figured it out. Other sites I used to visit began to stagnate or change, and I found similar content here, so I never left. Story 95. I share my hobbies, I guess. They receive no upvotes or comments. Story 96. I enjoy looking at breasts. Many beautiful women display them here. Story 97. Connect with the world in the best possible way right now. Story 98. All my other social accounts are mostly one-sided. On Reddit, I can join any community I want, no matter how obscure. Story 99. Reddit is an easier place to discuss my hobbies in communities dedicated to those interests. Twitter is full of right-wing extremists. Blue Sky is kind of boring, and I am not over 50, so Facebook is not for me. Story 100. Ditto all the reasons stated, plus the subreddit like us is fucking cute as hell. Story 101. I kill time at work. I get 2 15-minute breaks and a 30-minute lunch, and Reddit is the best thing I have for that. Story 102. Surfing for entertainment, how-to guidance, media information, and genres. Story 103. I had an issue, and I wanted some help on the Am I the Bad Apple subreddit. Story 104. Questions, answers, browsing, quality photography, and some funny stuff. Story 105. The things I want to talk about are not the kind of topics I get to explore in real life. Story 106. Discussing niche interests with other people who share them. Story 107. I enjoy watching people. They fascinate me. This is the best place to observe them. I cannot see you, of course, but I gain a much better understanding of human nature by reading your comments. Story 108. Reddit has an answer to just about anything, all based on real-life experiences. Story 109. It is relaxing. Sometimes it is helpful, for example, when I need to research how other people react to a certain supplement. Story 110. I look at hilarious posts and comments. They brighten my day and make me laugh. They are also informative for research. Story 111. I created this account to buy something from a user and then kept it. Story 112. I found a fan art feature in Wizard or Hero Illustrated magazine showing a mashup of Earthworm Jim and Grifter. It has been months and no one can tell me anything about it. It was the only reason I joined this site because people usually answer much more niche questions faster. Story 113. I was restricted on Facebook, which upset me, so I decided to check out Reddit. I'm really glad I did because it is a more pleasant environment. I'm still trying to figure out the karma system. A few of my comments have been removed because I did not have enough points or karma to post. It is a bit confusing, but I do not feel as stressed as I did on Facebook. The bots, the trolls, and the Make America Great Again supporters were becoming too much. I think I will stick around for a while. Story 114. I originally came to Reddit after using Dig because I needed a place to scroll when work at my desktop computer was slow. I ended up liking it more than Dig, so I created an account. Now, though, I like cat photo subreddits and the Am I the A-hole style subreddits, plus a few for my various hobbies. It is also great if you want an application to help you procrastinate more easily. Story 115. There are a few interesting subreddits, but many uninteresting or uncool ones. Story 116. It is the only form of social media that does not seem fake. No overly filtered photos or trendy reels to gain clout, followers, likes, or to promote clickbait or ragebait. Just real people having conversations with nothing to gain or lose. Story 117. Connection with people, genuine friendships, and another best friend. Story 118. I am sick of the unnecessary content you have to see on Facebook. Here I only see what I want. Story 119. I enjoy the diversity of the forums. My favorite sports team is the Sylph Road from Pokemon Go. Story 120. I really like commenting and finding out about gossip. I also want to vent, but very few people are empathetic. More people are driven by sex, and when I give my humble opinion, they start fights. Story 121. I love reading and talking. I enjoy hearing stories from other people and learning their thoughts and opinions. It is much better than doom scrolling on TikTok. That is for sure. Story 122. First, curiosity. Second, learning this. Finally, trying to have a somewhat social life. Story 123. Making evil friends who do not care that I am extremely evil. Story 124. I am a true crime enthusiast. I read comments to learn what others think happened to the person I am researching. Story 125. Reddit is a place to voice your opinion, learn, grow, or feel part of a community that sees the world a little like you do. It is interesting how many topics can capture our interest. I enjoy seeing how unique we all are and how much there is to learn from what is out there. Story 126. It is the one social media platform that does not have family or friends. Story 127. That is so cool. I like that. Reddit is useful for asking people things you would not be able to ask your friends. Story 128. Just another app to keep me entertained when I'm bored at work. Story 129. Reading other people's opinions and experiences is much better than Facebook. Story 130. If I am going to waste more time online, it might as well be here. Story 131. I like that I can use it and just be myself. It is cool here, and I can dive into my interests and find new niches. I also enjoy getting lost in subreddits and the numerous threads. Laughing out loud. Story 132. To learn more and help others discover how I earn money online. Story 133. Community. It is nice to be reminded that no matter where we live or what we do, deep down most of us care about the same things. Story 134. The ability to remain anonymous and to hear others' perspectives while they also remain anonymous. Story 135. Distraction is simply a way to divert my brain from things that are annoying or boring. Story 136. Downtime at work. There is occasionally a useful online community for a project or technology question. Story 137. Reading funny experiences from other people's lives helps remind me there is more out there than just my hometown. Story 138. It started as a place to gather information about the houseplants I have. Then I discovered other communities that were of interest to me, such as jigsaw puzzles and the Black History photos. I've learned so much. Story 139. I read interesting content, then my feed devolves into political nonsense. I mute the subreddit and repeat the process. Story 140. I am using it to practice my English, and I would say it is working quite well. I also enjoy solving the math and physics problems that are posted on the subreddit. Story 141. I have been asking myself that since I got sucked back here, and frankly, I still do not have an answer. Story 142. My best friend died, and we used to talk about reality shows. I do not know anyone else who is into them, so I mostly visit those subreddits to discuss them. Story 143. I have found excellent information on Reddit for do-it-yourself projects and work. Story 144. I quit Twitter the moment Elon Musk was rumored to be buying it. I came here to be a pain in the ass on the internet. Story 145. At first, it was to learn more about my favorite hobby, but I gradually joined several other subforums. I have had some interesting conversations and gotten into some truly stupid arguments. Overall, it has been fun. I am quickly learning when to ignore and when to engage. Story 146. I just joined. My husband is always sharing cool links, and I wanted to check it out on my own. I am still trying to understand it. I would like to share my art eventually. Story 147. I do this to see trends for certain subjects, learn what people are complaining about on my favorite subreddits, and occasionally discover information I might have missed because I am so immersed in my own life. Story 148. I like that I can tell random strangers about my life and experiences and read other people's stories. It is really nice to not know who someone is yet still find a connection. Story 149. Enjoyment in seeing how real people feel and how they live. Read about what they feel, what bothers them, and what makes them happy. Astrology, music, and places to visit. Story 150. Trolling, sarcasm, and giving solid advice to people who are doing silly things. Story 151. Honestly, the main reason was learning, but using it only for study felt boring. Story 152. Talk about unusual topics anonymously with random people. Story 153. I like how customizable my content feed is compared to other social media. I do not see random junk just because someone I am connected to happened to like it. Story 154. I like to talk and overshare. I see both insane and interesting things here every day. Story 155. I first came here to read AskReddit comments and Minecraft creepypasta posts, but I joined this subreddit soon after. Story 156. To learn how to be a good parent and to feel less alone. Story 157. I enjoy seeing the dumbfuckery on the internet. Reddit hits the mark. Story 158. It's the only place on the internet where you can be honest. Story 159. To be honest, I am here to find a user who can test my service, but I do not have enough karma to start. Story 160. It is the best medium for posting and communicating with others. Story 161. Solutions for problems, such as computer-related topics, and reading about my interests. Story 162. The main reason is that if I have an obscure question and Google is useless, I can ask a subreddit for advice. The other reason is that I am part of small collecting communities. I like to keep up with upcoming releases to get excited and to know what to save my money for. Story 163. I find it to be a more pleasant space than most social media. It is easier to share ideas about specific topics, particularly health concerns and experiences. Story 164. I discovered artwork that hadn't been posted on DeviantArt, my first social network. I grew tired of lurking and created an account. Now I scroll out of habit, and it's probably an addiction. Story 165. I deleted all other social media accounts and kept Reddit as a good all-rounder. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.